little bit more World Cup chat. What a day of football we had today. 2 games from the last 16. France versus Argentina, Uruguay versus Portugal. Watched both games and it was a real pleasure to watch. The France-Argentina game was one of the best games I think I've seen in the tournament in terms of sheer entertainment. Had pretty much everything in it. And the good things that it didn't have in it were controversial decisions, really. No VAR needed. Actually, in either game, I don't think we had VAR at all, which is really good. Definitely what you want to see. So France won 4-3 against Argentina. Uruguay won 2-1 against Portugal. A lot of people focusing on the fact that Messi and Ronaldo are no longer in the tournament. Well, listen. Ronaldo played for Uruguay, and if Messi played for France, those results would be a lot different, in so much as they'd be a lot better. Let's start off with France-Argentina. So I was really looking forward to this game because I felt that both sides have, clearly underperformed, but both sides have phenomenal attacking talent in their lineups. If you look at the lineups, just look at the bench for France. You got Thomas Lemar, you got Dembele, Fekir, Thauvin, who didn't exactly set the world alight in Newcastle, but has had a really good season for Marseille. I think they were saying 26 goals or something, which for an attacking midfielder is not bad. And then on the pitch, Giroud, Mbappe, Griezmann, not bad. Argentina are obviously pretty much the same. Di Maria, Messi. Not a big fan of Pavon, but he's there. And then Aguero, Dybala, Higuain on the bench. So both sides very attacking, and both sides have defences which have left a lot to be desired. So I knew there was going to be goals in this game without a doubt. A friend of mine put £60 on both sides scoring in both halves. So in other words, France and Argentina score in the first half, France and Argentina score in the second half, and he won £1,300. Not bad, not bad. I'm not a bettor or a gambler myself, and I'm sure he loses as many times as he wins. Well, more times, I guess. But I guess when you pull one off like that, it's a nice feeling. But anyway, we saw a fantastic match, a thrilling, especially the second half, really, when both teams really went for it. All the focus was on Messi and Argentina because they had scraped through. Now France, to be fair, France fairly comfortably got through in what could have been a difficult group. They beat Peru, they beat Australia, and they drew Denmark. They didn't look good in any of those games, but now we're into the last 16. I've kind of said many times before that I feel like once you get to this stage, there's individual moments of magic which will make or break in games. And if you have a team full of these superstars with so many of them on the bench, like, even if your team isn't ticking at 100%, you can still win matches. Now both teams really had that, and it was fascinating. The focus after the game is all about Mbappe. We know this kid is good, like he's really good, and he did very, very well today. I don't think it was like some breathtaking performance of the magnitude of, some we've seen from. I'm trying to think. I'd say whose performance would I say has possibly been better? Cup. I don't know offhand actually, but I think there has been. But without a doubt, this kid is on fire and he's doing very, very well. 19 years old. He's not 20 till December. He reminds me so much of the Brazilian Ronaldo, especially in that first penalty. So he basically picks the ball up. I think it was inside his own half, or at least very close to the halfway line, and takes it past a couple of players, just accelerates, and then has the goal to, I guess, he was probably a good like meter and a half behind Rojo, and then just puts it past him and then accelerates past him. Rojo, for whatever reason, even though I don't think Mbappe would have scored from where he was going, where the ball was, decided to pull him back and gave away a penalty. Idiotic defending, to be completely honest with you. But we've seen a lot of that in the World Cup, to be fair. Clear-cut penalty, in my opinion. No need for VAR or anything like that. Ref gave it straight away. But yeah, Mbappe was just kind of gazelle-like, really, really reminded me of Ronaldo. That kind of pace and that Brazilian Ronaldo I'm talking about. That pace and that control and directness that Ronaldo has, or had, sorry. I don't think he's quite the same player now that he was. I'm talking about Brazilian Ronaldo still. But yeah, really, really good. And yeah, just throw it away. Griezmann tucks away the penalty. France 1 up. I thought Argentina did pretty well to get back into the game. They didn't really threaten much, but I think they had a bit more of the ball than France. France looked very dangerous on the break, without a doubt. You know, with Mbappe, Griezmann, Giroud to kind of hit long or direct, if you like. You know, knocking it down for Griezmann and Mbappe. It's a real dangerous kind of combo they have. But I think Argentina are getting a little bit of joy down the wings. Pavard and Hernandez, perhaps not the greatest of right and left backs, although we'll get to Pavard in a bit. And they were getting a little bit of joy, but they weren't really creating anything. Till up steps Di Maria to, for some reason, decide to take a shot from about 30 yards out. He had no one around him, to be fair. There was no pressing from France, and then just smashed it into the kind of, I wouldn't say top left, but kind of middle left, leaving the keeper with very little chance of getting it. There was a wicked curve on that ball, and a fantastic goal. And I thought at that point, well, actually, I thought at the point when Mercado scored, which was from Messi, this was just into the second half, so it was 1-1 at half time, and then nearly straight away, like very early on from the kickoff, Messi has a kind of speculative shot, and I wouldn't say it was a Harry Kane goal, as in Mercado did try to, you can see he's trying to kind of flick the ball, and he did, and it goes in. And at that point I thought, you know what, Argentina could do this, because I thought they'd looked better than France up to that point. I didn't think they'd look brilliant or anything, but I thought they had looked a bit better. But France kind of came back into it from there, and you know, it tells a lot about a side, about how they come back from, you know, going a goal down, or especially when you're 1-0 up and then suddenly you're 2-1 down. You know, in the space of not very long actual game time. And it was a testament to them that they came back, and they came back with some style, because they had a kind of good break, and then in a very, very similar way to the Nacho goal for Spain against Portugal, the ball kind of comes out to that right hand side. Pavard's there, and I don't think he'll ever hit a football better than how he did there. I just don't see it happening. He I don't know, like, technique wise, he was perfection, like perfection. And that ball, like, just looking at it going, oh, it's so good. My personal opinion is Nacho's goal was better, because it hit both posts, and I love it when a goal hits both posts. But yeah, like, Pavard was, whoa, you know, we've been blessed in this game so far with 2 fantastic goals. I was like, wow, this is a good match. And you know, that's 2-2, and then you're like, well, anybody's game now, really, isn't it? And yeah, up steps Mbappe with 2 goals. One of them, can't remember if it was the first or the second. I can't actually remember now. But one of them was very poor goalkeeping. I thought overall the Argentina goalkeeper was very, very poor, personally. I thought he could have done a lot better. I know he's not the usual #1 goalkeeper, whatever Romero would be, but he was injured or whatever. But I just felt they were poor. The whole Argentina back line was pretty poor. Otamendi's a good defender, I think, but there's others around him who just are not very good, in my opinion. Rojo is not a great defender. He just looks really panicky. Fazio came on and looked even worse, nearly gifting France a goal as well with a horrendous back pass. I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but you know, cometh the man, cometh the hour. Mbappe, yeah, he's pretty good, isn't he? Pretty good. Some decisive finishing. He just looks really strong. You know, he looks strong. He looks fast. He looks so confident on the ball for 19 years old. You're at a World Cup. You're 19. You know, you want the ball like all the time, and you know you're there with Griezmann, who you know is in his prime years, plays for a big club. You know, could have moved to Barcelona, known as one of the best in the world, and I feel like the France players are looking to Mbappe now. They're like looking to him and saying, "You're the man," you know, at 19 years old, because he is the man. My personal opinion on Mbappe is Paris Saint-Germain never needed to buy Neymar, because they could have just brought Mbappe, and I think they would have had a better player. That's probably controversial. I know Neymar is all about I feel like Neymar's all about the, you know, tube videos. You know, he's all about the showcasing, the showboating. He's a good player, don't get me wrong. He's very talented, but I think he has that more entertainer, flamboyant side. And Mbappe just looks ruthless. Like, he just looks like he is ready to just tear you apart. He looks like he's got it all, and that he's going to go places. And I mean, him and Neymar, you know, for Paris Saint-Germain, that's a really good combo. Cavani as well. Wow. We'll see, but yeah, you know, France made it 4-2, and that was pretty much game over. Like, Argentina looked defeated. Then camera keeps cutting to Messi, and just looks so overwhelmed, like with the task ahead of him. Like, I feel like when he's at Barcelona, like, a team can man mark him, they can double up on him, but it leaves so much space for his teammates that it's like, you know, you have Suarez there as well. You know, when you have midfielders like Iniesta, you know, when you have so many dangerous players, you know, Dembele as well. When you have all these dangerous players around at Barca, if you double up on Messi, you're leaving all those players free, and I think it's kind of like that's okay. The trouble with Argentina is if you double up on Messi, it doesn't leave a lot else. It still puzzles me personally as to why Dybala, Aguero, and Higuain are all on the bench. I understand you can't play all of them, but it just doesn't feel right to have all that talent like on the bench. You know, like, there's got to be a better system than what they're running, and their system is not working. Mascherano, it does not look like the player he was. Benega and Perez had pretty poor games. I compare Argentina to Portugal. I was watching Portugal, and they look very accomplished on the ball. Like, they look very, very comfortable on the ball. The guys didn't mind having the ball. Don't get me wrong, Portugal lost, okay? But that's more to Uruguay defending than anything else. But they looked really accomplished on the ball. They looked like they were quite happy to take a couple of touches, pass it about, or sometimes do one-touch passing, stuff like that. And they just looked really solid, and I thought that's actually quite impressive. But Argentina just looked all over the place. Like, it didn't look like anyone else wanted the ball. Like, and Messi, you know, he set up Kun Aguero at the end with a great pass, to be fair, but you just feel like it's just a mountain to climb for him to win. Like, if this team won the World Cup, the Argentina team, Messi would be the greatest player that ever lived. because he would have had to single-handedly drag them through to the final. Now, personally, I probably would have put Higuain or maybe like Aguero, and then had Messi on the right or something, and Dybala on the left or something. I just think I would have done something different. Like, I just feel like Pavon and Di Maria are so much worse than like Aguero and Dybala that it just doesn't make sense to me to have them. I know it's kind of about balance, and maybe they've tried this before, etc., etc., etc. But I just feel like there's something really wrong there that you can't fit at least a couple. I know you can't play Higuain, Aguero, Dybala, and Messi probably in the lineup. Like, I realise that, but to have those three on the bench, look, if I turn around and go, oh well, you've got Lemar, Dembele, Fekir on the bench for France, but you've got Mbappe, Griezmann, Giroud. Giroud's there for a reason. Then it's like, okay, that makes sense. But when you go, oh, we've got Di Maria and Pavon on, but we've got Higuain, Aguero, Dybala on the bench, it just doesn't make sense for me. I think in international football you have to play to your strengths, because there's nothing you can do about the fact that you've got Marcus Rojo in defence, or you've got Fazio in defence. There's nothing you can do about that. You've just got to play to your strengths, whatever they are. You've got to make sure that that's the players you have are the players you have, and you've got to get everything out of those players that you can. And you've got to play a system which puts your best players on the pitch. I don't feel like Argentina does that. I think France are doing that to a certain extent. They still don't look great. They still conceded 3 goals in this game, and their defence, it does not look right. But my God, they look good at attacking. They look really dangerous every time they attacked Argentina. And the first half, I thought they stood off a little bit too much. Like, they let Argentina have the ball a bit too much. But yeah, once it opened up in the game, they really came alive, and they will be very dangerous. Although their opponents in the quarter-final will be Uruguay, and that will be an interesting game. 6th of July, 3 o'clock, because Uruguay beat Portugal 2-1. That's the first goal Uruguay have conceded in this calendar year. It wasn't a great goal to concede, but Uruguay are just so solid at the back. They're like the opposite to Argentina or France even, where like they are just really solid, really difficult to break down. They're like a version of like Tunisia or Paraguay, but with really good players. The downside to Tunisia and Paraguay is that they don't have that good of players. They're not. They try to play very defensively, and then stick a couple of players up front, or maybe one up front, and then that player's not good enough to hold the ball up or whatever. The difference with Uruguay is they have a really solid defence, and then when they get the ball up top to Cavani or Suarez, they're actually a danger there as well. Cavani with the 2 goals. The first one, he put out a great pass over to the left-hand side to Suarez, who then kind of cut in and crossed it round. Not exactly the most orthodox header from Cavani, kind of came off his face more than anything, but they all count. The second one I thought was just a magnificent piece of finishing. It was a break. Portugal had scored beforehand from Pepe, who was probably the single piece of bad defending that Uruguay did, where they concentrated a bit too much on Ronaldo, and Pepe was left free to head it in. But then Cavani from a break, and I thought Portugal were going to take control at that point, because they must have had the lion's share of the possession, right? 61 to 39. And I thought they were going to push on and get that, because I actually liked the look of Portugal tonight. As I said, they looked really accomplished on the ball. They had some really nice little through balls. They seemed to be able to get the through balls to get a player either side of this 18-yard box. But then once they put a cross in, either the cross was not good enough, or Uruguay managed to clear it with some very good defending. But yeah, they broke up the other way, Uruguay. A magnificent ball put through to Cavani, and then he just takes it first time, really on the 18-yard box line, and with a stunning finish. Not too much the Portuguese goalkeeper could do about either goal, really. Thought he might have done a bit better on Cavani's, but I just don't think he expected him to shoot first time. Cavani went off injured, which I guess is maybe a bit of a worry, because it's that partnership with Suarez up front that really, really makes a difference, and they have no one anywhere near as good as him to bring on. You know, if France had Mbappe injured, they could still bring on Dembele or Fekir, you know, or Griezmann injured, they could still bring on someone equally as good, maybe not quite equally, but you know, 90% as good. But I think if Uruguay lose Cavani, that's a real massive blow to them. But I don't know offhand how injured he is. Portugal tried and tried and tried, but they could not break down Uruguay. They are stubborn as hell. As I said, I thought Portugal looked really comfortable. I watched them and thought, man, I wish England looked this comfortable on the ball. Like, I know we're trying to kind of push that way and we're trying to improve, but we look nowhere near as good as like Portugal, just controlling the ball in possession and passing it around. I was actually really impressed with them. They look better than I think I'd seen them play. There's just nothing they can do to break down this Uruguay defence. When you have Ronaldo, one of the best finishers, you know, barely had a sniff. He barely had a sniff. They got some good players, Portugal. You know, they're not a one-man team as a lot of people make out. Bernardo Silva, I think, is an excellent player. It just, you know, in the end, Uruguay, just so stubborn and did really well. Yeah, and Portugal, I don't even think they came that close, really, to scoring. 8 blocked shots, see that? 8 blocked shots there, 10 corners. Say how many passes completed. You have 489 to 185. It's the tail of it, or 296 to 583. It's the tail of it because, you know, Uruguay set up exactly how we knew they were going to set up. Portugal had to attack them. We knew Uruguay dangerous on the break, obviously Suarez and Cavani holding up the ball, and that's how they win games. Uruguay is a small country. There's 3 million people in it. They happen to have 2 fantastic strikers, 2 fantastic centre backs, and some very good players elsewhere. And this is really, I think, is a good opportunity for them to do well at this World Cup. I don't know how they're going to do against France. It's going to be very interesting. Very interesting indeed. But, you know, my money would be on France at this point. I just think Mbappe's now got a real taste for it. And I just think with so much talent they've got, that they'll be able to break down Uruguay. Either like a battering ram at Giroud, or, you know, Mbappe's pace won't do him much good against Uruguay because they'll sit deep without a doubt. But I think when you have someone like Kante, who, I love Kante, he is such a good player. Like, every single time he was tackled, roughly, he would just get back up again. There'd be no like rolling around complaining, there'd be no moaning at the ref. Every single time, just gets up, gets on with it. It's so refreshing to see that when everyone else rolls about 15 metres up the pitch, you know, in agony, only to then just get up and carry on playing football, like literally 10 seconds later. Kante, for me, like, should be the role model for kids out there. You know, socks off every game. Talented guy as well, like, you know, technically very good, so hard-working, reads the game really well, and doesn't play act. I love him. Yeah, he is quality, top quality. Probably the best in the world at what he does. Yeah, absolutely the best in the world at what he does, I think. So yeah, it would be an interesting game against Uruguay. I tip France to go through on that one. Germany were going to get to the final. Tomorrow we've got Spain against Russia. You'd have to tip Spain for this. I know Russia had those two really good results, but I think their third game showed that they, were not the team everybody thought they would be, shall we say. Or not the team that those first two results kind of showed that they are lacking a little bit, shall we say. So I think they'll do well. Of course, you never know with this partisan crowd behind them what can happen. Spain have looked great in parts and are so dodgy in others. It depends what team, I guess, comes out. Whether it's going to be Spain on their day, who I think could beat them, or Spain just having a wobble, and who knows what happens. It'll be an interesting game to watch for sure. Croatia, Denmark. I'm hoping Croatia beat Denmark. Denmark just they just look so boring, to be honest. Croatia look really good. I think they will comfortably beat Denmark, which would set up probably Spain-Croatia in the quarters, which would be a hell of a game. Then we're going to have Brazil-Mexico, which you'd have to fancy Brazil for that one. I think they're getting better. They're not quite there yet, but they're getting better. I think a potential Brazil-Belgium quarterfinal is a mouth-watering contest. Absolutely. And I think Belgium could beat Brazil. So, yeah. I think Belgium are going to beat Japan comfortably. I think it won't be comfortable for Brazil against Mexico, but I expect them to beat them. Down here, I would think Switzerland could beat Sweden. I think they've got good quality needed to beat Sweden there. Sweden have been very resolute, so that one could go either way for me. And then Colombia, England. Again, I actually feel like that could go either way. Colombia are not a bad side. England are not a bad side, but neither of them are good. Like, neither of them are like really good. Yeah. I kind of said it before or after the Belgium-England game, and I'll kind of say it again. I would have preferred England to be this side because if you're at the World Cup and you want to have intentions, of maybe not winning the World Cup this year, but in future. I think the potential for our players to play against like Brazil in a quarterfinal would be so much better than playing against potentially Sweden or Switzerland, to give them that experience of that bigger game. And potentially you could say if we were lucky enough to beat Colombia and then Switzerland or Sweden and make it to a semi, we could face Croatia or Spain potentially, which would be a big match. But England haven't won a knockout game for a long time, and for us to beat these teams, I don't think we're much better than any of these teams here. I think we're at a pretty similar level to Colombia, Switzerland, Sweden. The one difference you could probably argue is we've got Harry Kane, who is a world-class striker. Other than that, I think, looking on paper, man for man, we're maybe slightly better than Colombia, but it would be very slight. And again, with Switzerland and Sweden, it'd go either way. I look at some of these games and I see Croatia way better than Denmark, Spain on paper way better than Russia, Belgium way better than Japan, Brazil on paper much better than Mexico. But yeah, I think this is a very balanced side of the draw. If you said to me Sweden got to the semis, I'd be like, yeah, or any of those teams basically. Probably the one I'd be surprised at would be England, but we'll see anyway. I mean, listen, we've got a very young side. We've got some players who aren't here, who are young and very good. We won the Under-20 World Cup. We have a massively bright future ahead of us. We've just got to not get carried away and not be so negative about England in this tournament. And Gareth Southgate might make some mistakes, but he'll learn from them. This is his first big tournament. He hasn't been England manager very long. And if we go out to Colombia, we'll learn from it and we'll move on. But nothing good will come. Like, I was listening to the radio yesterday, and they were just moaning about Southgate resting players and being like, "Oh, he rested their players. We lost the momentum." Listen, Belgium had already decided that Southgate had to rest players because they'd already announced that they weren't going to play their best players. So, for Gareth Southgate going into that game, he knows Belgium's going to play a weak side. So he has three options, or there are three outcomes that can happen. Southgate plays his strongest side, or four outcomes that can happen. Southgate plays his strongest side, and they win or they lose. That's two outcomes. If they win, people turn around and go, well, it was just Belgium's B side, so it doesn't matter, it doesn't count. And then potentially has players who could get injured or could be more tired going into this game. Bear in mind they've already qualified. England play their strongest side and lose to Belgium B. Worse, because then everyone's like, well, that was our best side and we couldn't even beat Belgium's B side. You know, you've demoralised everyone and you haven't rested anybody. You play a weak side. Okay, so this is option 3. You play a weak side and you win the game. Then everyone turns around and goes, well, it was just Belgium B. Yeah, sure, fine, it was good. Oh, but we're on the bad side of the draw now. Okay. You play a weak side and you lose, which is what happened. Well, yeah, it was a weak side. He shouldn't have rested the players. They've lost their momentum now. You know, he should have played them. Harry Kane should have played if we wanted to win the game. And it's just like, instead of looking at all the negatives that can associate with it, let's look at the positives. The positives is we're into the last 16. We knew that anyway. And we have no major injury problems right now. We have most of our team rested going into the Colombia game. Some of them have had very long seasons with their clubs. And we're going into that game. And yes, we're not going in off the bounce of a win, but we are going off, most of those players having a bounce of a win off Panama and knowing that this is now, you know, slate's clean, last 16, let's go for it. I look at it as a win-win situation for Southgate, in that he had two choices. He could either play a strong team or a weak team. If he plays a strong team and they do well, you know, he wins. If they play a strong team, they do badly, he loses. So I think the only choice was to play a weak side. I think Belgium made that decision for him already by saying that they weren't going to play a strong side. They already devalued that fixture into a friendly. And I think he had no choice but to play a weak side. We'll see. Anyway, I don't think there was any decision to lose the game to get on an easy side of the draw. I think that's irrelevant and dumb. But I think that's ridiculous to kind of suggest, really. But I do think there was a case of, I listened to radio and some guy on there was like, I just can't understand why he wouldn't play their strong team. It's like, you literally can't, I don't work out why you can't understand it. He played a weak side to rest players, to protect them from injuries, and then someone's like, oh yeah, but they could get injured in training. But, yes, they could get injured in training, but that's like me turning around saying, well, I don't want to leave my house because I could get run over by a bus, and then someone say, yeah, but the roof could fall in on your house and you could also die. Well, yeah, but I'm minimising the risk of, if you look at it as an overall potential risk, you are minimising, you are reducing the risk. I don't know, I just feel like there's so many people out there who want to just, be so negative towards England when, we've done better than the last World Cup. We have a young squad, it looks good, the future is bright. Are we ever going to win a World Cup? I don't know. It's difficult to do. It is difficult to do. But the only thing I've ever wanted from an England side at a World Cup is to just watch them play good football, and really try and give their all. And if they're not good enough, then they'll come home heroes in my eyes, because you can only do your best, and if they're out there doing their best and trying the hardest, that's the important thing. I've seen too many performances in the past where England just look like they've given up, and it's just horrible to watch. So that's kind of what I want, and if they can get through, to quarters or semis, or God forbid the final, all the better for it. But there's a lot of very good teams in this tournament. A lot of good teams in this tournament. So I rate their chances about as highly as I rate Sweden, Switzerland, or Colombia's, or Denmark's, or Russia's right now, which is not of winning this tournament. So we'll see anyway. As I said, I have to wait and see. I'm super excited to watch that Colombia game. Like the Belgian game just felt so flat because it just didn't mean anything anyway. Really, that I'm looking forward to having that tension of it meaning something again, like it did in the Tunisia game. When that second goal went in, it was such a relief. Or Panama, when we got that fantastic early start and really demolished them in the first half, it just felt like, oh my god, this really meant something. This is so good. And the Belgian game just felt so flat that I want to get back to that feeling of like, oh yeah, this means something. It's a great feeling. But yeah, thanks for watching. I think I've waffled on enough. I won't be able to do a roundup tomorrow because I'm working, but I'll do one on Monday, which will probably incorporate the Brazil, Mexico, Belgium, Japan, and then Spain, Russia, Croatia, Denmark games all in one episode anyway. And then we'll obviously do something for the England game as well. But till then, guys, thanks for watching, and see you soon. Bye bye.